When people ask me what should I buy in terms of affordable yet full-bodied big red wine, I almost always recommend Jumilla. Jumilla is a region in southeastern Spain. It's known for the grape Monastrell, also known as Mourvedre around the world, one of the components of the GSM blend, one of the great red wine blends of the world. But here in Jumilla, Monastrell takes center stage. The only other region in Europe where that's similar is in Bandol and Provence, the south of France. Those wines can be extraordinary. You do see occasionally varietal bottlings of Mourvedre and Chateauneuf de Pape, but that's the exception rather than the rule. The region spreads out over 7 villages, around 22,000, 27,000 hectares. I've seen different numbers depending on the source. Among Spanish regions, Jumilla is having a lot of success in international markets because of the quality of wine and the accessibility. There's a long history of winemaking in Jumilla. Vitis vinifera seeds were found as early as 3000 BC. Just several hundred years ago, when phylloxera was devastating all of Europe, a lot of people from France went to Jumilla to buy the wine and resell them. Phylloxera did not come there until recently, 1989. At that point, the producers in Jumilla regrafted vines, looked to modernize production, move away from bulk wines, and step into the world of high-quality bottled wines. It is the home of Monastrell, Mourvedre, so it has a unique signature grape, old bush vines with tradition and history. I don't love to talk in detail about regions that I haven't been to, but when the region of Jumilla reached out, wanted to send me some wines, which this video is not sponsored by the way, they just sent some samples, I took the opportunity to jump on it because I think these are affordable red wines that I always recommend and that you need to know about. Jumilla is an arid continental climate, even though it's closer to the Mediterranean. There's some of the highest concentration of old pre-phylloxera vines in Europe, a lot of bush vines. Monastrell is a variety that's late ripening, needs a lot of dry, warm conditions to make fantastic wines. That's why a lot of producers in Chateauneuf de Pape are turning to more Mourvedre, because when it ripens, it doesn't have as much sugar as Grenache, therefore the alcohols aren't soaring off the charts. Monastrell is a variety that's really unique. You're gonna have a lot of black fruit flavors, black plum, black cherry, but you also get some blueberry notes. That's what I've seen traditionally, along with a lot of spice, plenty of tannins, although the producers in Jumilla have worked hard to soften the wines. To be labeled as a Jumilla red wine, it has to be at least 80% Monastrell. There's also some Cabernet, Merlot, Syrah, Tempranillo, Grenache, and Alicante in the area. There are white wines in the region, but I think red wines, that's where it's at. I have to admit, Jumilla wines are not my favorite red wines in the world. They're really big. I like more medium-bodied, elegant red wines. However, a lot of people do like these flavors. People that like things like California Cabernet, I often recommend Jumilla as an inexpensive alternative. Here today we have 6 wines. 5 of them fall under 20 bucks. One of them is a more premium Jumilla, around 50 bucks. And I know 3 of these are really widely available in the US. Let's taste them, see if we can find some values. Big red wines. I'm tasting on my Rito 002 red wine glass. I love this glass. It works well with big red wines. It's a big glass. You can fit a whole bottle of wine in it almost. I have a link in the description box if you want to check it out. As always, I Coravin these, had somebody mix them up for me. I want to see if the expensive wine really stands out. Jumilla really over delivers in the under $20 price point. In fact, some of these wines are in the teens, which is really hard to accomplish now with the way all costs rising around the world. Wine 1, this is typical black plum, fig, dried cherry, a little bit of bacon fat, a little bit of smoke, earthiness. That's the thing that's really nice about Jumilla red wines, especially affordable ones. Not only are they fruity, but they have earthy complexities too. Wine 1, really good. Tannins are fine grape. Monastrell creates wines with big time tannins. Here, the tannins are kind of under control. I haven't tasted Jumilla wines in about a year. This has got a lingering finish. I think this is excellent. The tannins in Jumilla, the Monastrell wines, they're fantastic because they are tannic. There is some grip, but it's not too overpowering. These wines can be approached young too, which is really nice. Let's move on to 2. 2 has a little bit more of a rubber component. Black cherry, plum, earth, pepper even. Nice. It's so funny because a lot of people that like big Cabernets, it's not the same flavor profile, but it's something that you can get used to, especially with the mocha, the earthy notes. 2 is quite similar to 1. However, on the palate, the fruit kind of falls off a bit. You're left with a little bit of wood tannins. I'm being really picky here when I'm scoring these wines. These are all minor nuances. I think a lot of people are going to love this wine. Just in comparison to wine 1, I'm a little bit more excited about wine 1. Wine number 3. Pretty funny. Actually, a couple months ago, I judged with the president of the region of Jumilla. That was in Korea, of all places, at the Asian Wine Trophy. 3 is much darker than the first 2. Black cherry, fig, earth, like a little bit of leather, rawhide type leather. Mourvedre, Monastrell can be a little bit gamey sometimes. It's pretty unique. I like the grape a lot. This is the type of wine that most people that like big red wines are gonna love. It's dark, it's rich, it's smooth. Everything is nice and balanced. I get a little more excited about wine 1 with there's some more nuance and complexity, but I think 3 is a hell of a wine, especially if it's affordable. Let's move on to wine number 4. 4 is a little bit floral. It gets me excited. You're still gonna have the black cherry, the scorched earth, the little bit of pepper, but there's like a touch of violets, maybe even saffron-y. Lots of complexity. Get the oak, but it's really nice. Rich, smooth, the tannins kind of hit you on the back end. On the nose, it was a little prettier than some of the other 3 with more floral notes, but it starts to be a big boy on the palate. These wines are a little higher in alcohol. It's a warm climate. However, they're not scorching. I don't feel any burn. 4 is good. 5 is not too big. 5 actually tends to be more red fruited, which I like. I'm biased because I like red fruit flavors, especially sour cherry in red wine, especially Sangiovese. That's why I love it so much. So more red cherry here, just a touch of chocolate, pepper, even a little bit meat. This is really complex. 5 is really good. 5 is more red fruit. It's delicate. There's more nuances. I think a lot of people might gravitate more towards number 3 for the richness, the boldness. I have to say though, 5 is like, if Jumilla wines were all like this, I'd just be screaming about them. As of now, it's not the best wine in the bunch so far. To me, it might be my personal preference. I think it's very good. Let's move on to 6. Oh, we get to number 6. The tannins are starting to build up in your mouth. It's quite astringent here. Let's move on to 6. So you want these wines with red meat? I would just love to have these with some jamon, some manchego cheese. God, that would be so good. Maybe some preserved olives. 6 has more blueberry notes. It's like blueberry, spice, and incense. That's really comes out with a hint of mocha. Quite nice as well. Blueberry, mocha, just a lot to enjoy here. I've enjoyed all these wines. I have one that I think is super high level, like fine wine. Let's take a look and see what they are. I haven't tasted the wines of Jumilla in quite some time, so I'm looking forward to the reveal here. I have 2 tied at 89 points. Let's start out with the one I just tasted, number 6. It had more blueberry type flavors, which I can see a lot in Monastrell. Everything was good, balanced on the palate. It just, the fruit, the acidity, the tannins kind of separated a bit. They weren't fully integrated. It's almost like when you're, I guess, cooking a soup. If you taste it when it's not fully cooked, the flavors haven't all come together yet, but then with time or the next day, the flavors are all integrated. This was like maybe a soup that isn't fully finished. It was still good. 89 points, just compared to the other ones. Let's see. You like blueberries? This wine's for you. This is the Bodegas El Guru Gold Red Blend, 92 points from Wine Enthusiast. This comes in at 13 bucks. This is actually a blend, 80% Monastrell, 15% Syrah, 5% Cabernet Sauvignon. I know that this wine gets a lot of press, beautiful label, by the way, and I think it was in one of the top 100 lists of 2022, 14.5 alcohol, 89 points. I highly recommend this. I think people are really gonna enjoy it. It's something not breaking the bank. You take it to a party, a lot of people are going to enjoy. Number 2, typical Monastrell flavors. The only problem for me, to make it ethereal, great wine, the fruit fell off a little bit, left me with just tannins in the mouth. I still think it's very good. Fruity. This is like the stereotypical Monastrell that I think people are gonna see, enjoy, love from Jumilla. This is like Jumilla to a T. For me, 89 points. This is the Bodegas Bleda Divus. This is 20 bucks, 100% Monastrell 2018. Real classic, plain label. I actually have never heard of this producer. Some of these producers I've heard of before. New wine to me. not bad. I think it's just stereotypical Jumilla. Number 4 was the most floral. That's the thing that stood out to me right away. I said it was a prettier nose, and on the palate, it became stereotypical Jumilla Monastrell. Rich, big, complex. I gave it 90 points. I think it's a heck of a buy. Let's take a look and see. This is a wine that's super readily available. A lot of people are gonna find, love it, and enjoy it. This is the Juan Gil silver label made from organic grapes, Monastrell. This comes in at 16 bucks. Juan Gil is a name that you're gonna see often when it comes to Jumilla. You go to some independent shop, some small wine shop, most likely they're gonna have Jumilla and they're gonna have Juan Gil. I know that their blue label, I think, is the most expensive wine. I think that this for 16 bucks is absolutely exceptional. I'm buy all over that. Really highly recommend that wine. Juan Gil is also one of the producers that's credited with helping to put Jumilla wines back on the map. So you're getting an iconic producer of a region for 16 bucks. Number 3, rich, dark, smooth. I think a lot of people are gonna think this is the best wine in the bunch. It's just smooth, balanced. I give it 91 points. I think this is also a buy depending on the price. This is a wine that's always good, even though they changed the label. This is the Bodegas Luzon. This is the Altos Monastrell 100%. $19.99. Altos de Luzon. I don't know if it's Luzon or Luzon. I know the dialects are a little bit different all over Spain. I've really enjoyed this wine in the past. I think the last one I had was 2016, $19. I think that is a buy. That is the most crowd-pleasing wine out of all these, and that's one heck of a price. Okay, so the expensive wine is standing out so far. Let's move on to number 5. Number 5, to me, was my favorite out of these wines. It wasn't the most highly scored because I love the red fruit flavors. I found it to be a lot more delicate. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 92 points. It's just my style of wine. Again, that's why you don't think about scores, listen to tasting notes, what people have to say that you respect, because I don't think that a lot of people are gonna love this wine as much as I do. I think a lot of people will love the Luzon or the Juan Gil more, but still I gave it 92 points. This is the Viña Elena Paraje Marín. Paraje means like a parcel. $16. 100% Monastrell, 2022. I think this is exceptional. I never have heard of this producer. I think it's a small producer. I'm really interested to taste more of the wines. I thought it was brilliant. 16 bucks. I'm drinking that all day, every day. That's like a Wednesday night pizza wine. That's fantastic. Okay, I had one expensive wine in the bunch and it did stand out amongst the rest. I find Jumilla offers great value for money. There's something about it. It just was balanced. Everything came together. Like the soup example I was talking about earlier, when soup isn't cooked through, the flavors aren't come together. Here, everything came together. It was stereotypical Jumilla, stereotypical Monastrell. It was fantastic. This was fine wine. 93 points. This might be the best Jumilla wine I've ever tasted. I know Bodegas El Nido is also one of the more expensive, one of the more highly regarded Jumillas. This was exceptional, 93 points. But it's expensive. This is the Alceño. Inédita de Alceño, 50 bucks, 2016, 100% Monastrell, has this cute little typewriter on it. I don't know this producer. I just know that this wine is exceptional. This is fine wine. This is something that I would even love to bring to maybe some kind of Southern Rhone type tasting. Very good. So tell me, do you like the wines from Jumilla? Do you have any favorite producers? Have you tried any of these wines? Drop it in the comments below.